We share a universal psychological trap. We are desperate for certainty. We spend our lives trying to predict the future, convinced that if we can just map out what happens next, we will finally find peace. But trying to control the unknown is like holding water in your bare hands. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. Consider a man who spent his entire life mastering the rules of his universe. He was a respected teacher, a scholar who studied ancient texts and mapped out the logic of existence. He operated on the certainty framework. For him, faith was an equation. If you acquire enough knowledge and follow the right steps, you earn a clear path to a reward. Across the city lived a janitor. He had no public status, no wealth, and no followers. He spent his mornings wiping down dusty windows and sweeping empty school hallways. But before he picked up his broom, he practiced a daily ritual of unconditional gratitude for whatever the day might bring. Both men actually asked the universe the exact same question every morning: when will I finally reach my destination? But the psychology behind the question was miles apart. The teacher demanded a timeline, asking for proof that his logical roadmap was working. The janitor simply asked from a place of surrender, trusting the journey without needing to see the map. It is remarkably easy to maintain a theoretical worldview when life is quiet and predictable, but baseline conditions don't tell us much. To find out which of these psychological frameworks actually produces inner peace, they must be subjected to a stress test. The messenger presented a scenario designed to short-circuit human logic. He claimed he had seen the creator of the universe passing an entire mountain through the eye of a sewing needle. When the teacher heard this, he laughed politely. He immediately rejected the claim. An intellect strictly bound by the laws of nature simply cannot process a reality that operates outside its established rules. Because his piece relied on logic, an illogical scenario was instantly discarded. But the janitor's reaction was entirely different. He picked up an ordinary acorn from the ground. He noted that hidden inside that tiny shell is an entire oak tree, a massive structure capable of surviving centuries of storms. He took an everyday observation of nature and scaled it up. If the universe can hide a towering forest inside a seed, a mountain passing through a needle is no longer a contradiction. Knowledge fills the mind, but it remains fragile because it requires constant proof to sustain itself. Trust transforms the soul because it bypasses the need for evidence entirely. The illusion that the human mind must understand everything before the heart can believe creates a ceiling for faith. Soon after, the baseline stability for both men vanished. Structural damage forced the teacher's church to close indefinitely. In an instant, the place that gave his life purpose, the routine he had built for decades, and his very identity were gone. This animated diagram shows how the certainty framework processes trauma. When a mind heavily reliant on logic crashes into an unexpected crisis, it demands an explanation. But when no logical reason is provided, the signal has nowhere to go. It bounces backward, trapping the teacher in an agonizing, perpetual loop of asking why. Now watch as we zoom out to see the janitor's simultaneous crisis. Budget cuts eliminated his job. He lost his income and his daily routine overnight. Both men hit the exact same barrier of unexpected crisis, but the janitor's signal routes smoothly around the roadblock, passing through trust and continuing forward. Instead of panicking, the janitor closed his eyes and thanked the universe for closing a door, assuming it meant another one was opening. By actively practicing gratitude for a loss, he neutralized his own fear. He circumvented the paralysis that comes from demanding a reason for the pain. In the immediate aftermath of a crisis, demanding answers anchors us to our trauma. Relinquishing control is what actually gives us the momentum to keep moving. With his momentum intact, the janitor pivoted. He began volunteering at a local food pantry. His internal peace had never been tied to his paycheck or his title, which meant his sudden suffering had no oxygen. It could not mutate into bitterness. At the pantry, he met a young man whose life was falling apart. The janitor sat right beside him and offered his own framework, suggesting that a closed door is rarely a punishment. It is a redirection toward the one door we haven't noticed yet. He continued this work for months, remembering names and listening without judgment. Eventually, the young man returned to volunteer alongside him. As others followed their lead, the pantry transformed into a center for community healing. Miracles rarely arrive as a magical alteration of external circumstances. They begin with an internal pivot toward finding purpose inside the pain. Months later, the two storylines finally converged. The formerly successful teacher found himself standing broken on the cold outside, looking through a window. Inside, he watched the unemployed janitor thriving, serving as the center of a bustling community. The teacher approached him and asked how the janitor survived the sudden loss of his livelihood and his security without losing his mind to fear. The janitor explained that his peace came from a specific orientation. He never placed his trust in his own ability to predict the future. He relied solely on the proven reliability of the past, on the force that had never failed him yesterday. True, unshakable resilience is only achieved when we untether our inner peace from our future outcomes. The teacher looked back at the messenger's riddle and saw it in a new light. He realized that the literal, physical mountain was never the subject of the miracle. This balance scale illustrates the reality of the riddle. On one side, we have the external laws of nature, massive, heavy physical forces. On the other, we have a small, dense core, the human need for control, our fear, and our pride. When placed on the scale, the human ego is the heavier, far more immovable force, slamming the scale downward. Moving a physical mountain is easy. Moving human fear is the true impossible mountain. Look at your own life right now. You likely have unanswered prayers, sudden delays, or doors that have slammed shut in your face. We are conditioned to view these as evidence of abandonment. Try reframing them as an active, deliberate invitation to deepen your trust in the process. Letting go of the desperate need to understand everything is the starting line of the most profound inner peace a human being can experience.